Hi there, Saksham this side from ACE IPM. In today's video, we are going to talk about the overall competition in IPM and also what should your target score be in IPMAT Indore, IPMAT Rotha and even JIPMAT. So without any further ado, let's get started. So starting with the competition bit, if I talk about the total competition, it is going to be somewhere around 30,000. That was the overall competition for IPM Indore in the year 2020. The seat matrix is as follows. You have 150 seats available in Indore, 200 in Rohtak, 120 in Ranchi, 60 each in Bodh Gaya and Jammu, which totals to about 590 seats available at a competition of about 30,000 people. There's also some waitlist movement as some people might have financial issues failing to pay the fee. Some are JE aspirants, they get a good IIT or NIT, so they forego their seats in IPM. Some people get good colleges in DU like SRCC, Stephens, Hindu, Hansraj, etc., which is why they choose to go there rather than IPM. So if you consider all that, if in case you are in the top 1000, you are sure to get any one of the IPMs. And I am not taking reservations and everything into account over here. Now, if I talk about the actual competition, right now we are talking about 1,000 seats in 30,000 people. But the actual competition, in the case of IPMAT Indore 2019, about 20,000 people applied, 17,500 people attempted the test, and only 13,000 had positive raw score in each of the sections. Imagine, in 2020, 29,500 people applied. We do not have exact figures for 2020 because those were not released by the institute, but an estimate is of about 30,000 people applying for it. Around 13 to 15,000 people attempting IPMAT Indore. Reason being, some did not really go to the test center because of COVID. They feared that their parents were not willing to send them for the exam. And a lot of people actually were not able to give this exam because two major exams, IPMAT Indore and DU JAT, clashed on the same day, which was September 7. So roughly about the competition would have been of 13 to 16,000 people, of which 8,000 had a positive raw score in each of the section. If you consider all this, even though 8,000 and 13,000 people are getting a positive raw score, there will still be people who are scoring 1, 2, 5, 10, 30, 40, 50, 80, right? And those are not your competition. If in case you are studying, your real competition is from the final 5,000 people who are also actually studying, giving their best in order to get to one of these IIMs. And I'm not trying to paint a picture better than it is. The facts are there in front of you. But just make sure that you are doing your best to first come into those 5,000 people and then gradually coming to the top 500, 100 even, so as to you get into IIM Indore. So that being said, what is the score that you should be targeting to come in those final people who actually get IPM? If I talk about IPMAT cutoffs for the year 2019 and 20 in the case of IIM Indore, in 2019, you had 100 questions in paper with about 120 minutes in total, 40 minutes each section. In QA short answer, a cutoff of 20, MCQ 31, VA 71, which totals to 122 out of 400 marks. In the case of 2020, you had 60 questions and 90 minutes, so about 30 minutes each section. In short answer, you had a cutoff of 20 marks out of 40, so the questions were halved but the cutoff remained the same. In MCQ section, you had a cutoff of 26. In the VA section, you had it as 68, totaling up to 114. Now, because of the fact that the level of difficulty of the 2020 paper was slightly easier, and also because the time given per question was a little higher, that is why people were able to score more, which is why the cutoff did not go so low when compared to the previous year. So like you had just a cutoff of 122 out of 400, but in the year 2020, even though the paper was of 240 marks, your cutoff still remained 114, which is, considerably higher than last year if you go percentage wise. So keeping this into consideration, taking this into consideration, what can we say is a good score for IPMAT Indore? See, even though we over here talk about the cutoffs, right? These cutoffs only guarantee you a shortlist, but not the final call. In your final call, 65% weightage is given to your aptitude test and the rest 35% goes to your personal assessment. So because in final call also 80 has been given a majority weightage, you have to make sure that you're not only clearing the cutoffs but maximizing your score here, because about 1,000 people are going to be shortlisted. Of those 1,000 people, the top 150 make it to IIM Indore. A score of 200 out of 400 can be considered to good. If in case you are scoring to the north of 200, you have a full chance of getting into IPM, and that is as per the 2019 LOD. If in case the level of difficulty goes down, like in the case of 2020 paper, the things might change and the numbers will vary. So this is only a speculation at this point. But on top of that, you not only have to make sure to score high in the paper, you also have to make sure that your score is balanced in the case of verbal and quantitative aptitude also. You're scoring at least 100 in both these sections, and in QA, in the case of QA, combined 100 in both the QA, essay and MCQ section. Reason for that is VA is given 50% weightage and QA, MCQ and short answer are given 25% weightage each. So it's not like if you are really good with math but barely clearing the cutoffs of verbal, you are having a higher chance of getting in. No, someone who might have scored lesser than you in QA but still a good score in VA might have a higher chance of converting because of the fact that he has done his paper was more balanced. So you have to make sure that you are attempting the paper and you're bringing all the three sections at the same level and not lagging behind in one of them. So to summarize, 200 plus out of 400 as per 2019 LOD, with at least 100 coming from VA, 100 coming from QA. I cannot give the breakdown of MCQ and short answer because as you can see in the cutoffs, in the case of 2019, the short answer section was harder than MCQ and that is why the cutoffs were slightly low. In the case of 2020 paper, the short answer section was easier than MCQ. So even though they had double the questions in MCQ, the cutoffs wasn't as much, right? So it really depends how the paper is set up. But a total of 100 would be good enough to get through not only this paper, but also the final call. Coming to IPMAT Rotha. Here I cannot give you a concrete answer, and the reason for that is you have 40% weightage given to your past academics, which is your score in 10th and 12th. If I talk about the 2019 cutoff for IPMAT Rotha, it was 256 out of 480. It's an easy paper, hence it is a high scoring paper also. But you can say that a score of 300 plus would be enough as long as you have excellent past academics to the north of 93 and a decent personal interview. Now, if in case your past academics aren't so good, or maybe in the case they're terrible, you need to consider maximizing your 80 scores to compensate for it. Because even though 40% weightage is given to past academics, aptitude test still accounts for 45% of the weightage and personal interview about 15%. So make sure that you're doing well in the other two aspects if your past academics aren't so great. Now, in the case of JIPMAT, I cannot give you any concrete answer again, and the reason for that is we do not have any past year data. It is going to be their first year of conducting this exam. But what I feel like is that you will be able to score a little higher because you'll have more time per question than IPMAT Rotha. IPMAT Rotha also has a sectional timer. That is not the case with JIPMAT. You have 100 questions, 150 minutes. And as per the information bulletin, it does not mention about any sectional timer as such. You will have less competition than IPM Rotha. So because of that, even though you will be able to attempt more questions, I would say the cutoffs will still be balanced and it will be similar to IPMAT Rotha percentage wise. Why? Because people will be able to score high, but at the same time, there won't be as much competition for them to be filtering out the best people because it's their first year and it's for the baby IIMs. So not a lot of people would be willing to fill up the form of JIPMAT. Now, weightage given to past academics over here is 15% to 10th, 15% to 12th. So again, past academics will play an important role in the case of admission in IPM at IIM Bodhgaya and Jammu as well. But it still would be a slightly easier because of the fact that again, it's their first year and not a lot of people would be willing to apply for JIPMAT and those two IIMs. Concluding that, if in case you are preparing for any of these exams, you might as well join us up at ACE IPM. The course is taught by your seniors from IPM. You get a set of 22 booklets delivered to your doorstep. You get mocks that closely align with the actual exam. And on top of all this, you have unparalleled support from IPM mentors, people who have been through this journey themselves and know what it takes to get in, and they'll help you with the same. So you might as well consider joining us up over there. The link of the course as well as the free counseling session is down in the description. So you might want to check us out. That being said, thanks for tuning in. If in case you found the video helpful, you might leave a like and share this video to your friends who might also find it helpful. Subscribe to the channel for more such updates. And until next time, good luck, stay safe. Thank you and bye-bye.